Welcome back to Podcast Recovery, everyone. We're your hosts, David O.
And Eric V.
Today we are rejoined by our very good friend in-house, Mr. Donnie C. How are you doing tonight, man?
I'm not so bad. A little tired from the workday, but I'm jazzed.
I hear you.
Love it.
Well, I guess we'll just go back. We'll go through all the stock questions again. Just the beginning.
Go
Just
ahead.
where are you from, Donald?
I'm from in Maryland.
Maryland.
I'm a
It's
Maryland
been a
guy.
while.
Fantastic. And when were you first introduced to recovery?
Early 2010.
Early 2010. Fabulous. And so how long have you been clean?
Just about 9.5 years.
All right, 9.5 years. All right. Well, this is our second special, I guess third special edition episode. You know? Because we had the 1 year anniversary episode, and then we had the couples episode.
Which might come out after this.
Might come out, yeah.
So
Okay.
it's the second.
So yeah, this could be the second or the third, depending.
Third
recording.
recording.
Yes,
And
but probably the second released.
Well, I'm honored.
Yeah,
absolutely, buddy.
you're our first,
Yeah,
second return guest.
second.
First being published, probably.
Yeah.
Very
right,
good.
right.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to
Yeah.
since we digress.
Besides the
Can I get a little bit more heat on my mic? Can I get a little bit more?
You got a hot mic there?
Yeah, no, I want a little bit more juice. I like to hear the honey in my voice.
I think you just need to turn this up.
Is that right? Oh yeah. There we go. Now we're in the money spot. Okay. Sorry everyone. Yeah, tonight's topic, we're gonna have a topic meeting tonight.
Step meeting.
Topic.
Step.
Steps to topic.
Steps to topic. Topic to
Yeah,
steps. We'll
get into this in the meeting after the meeting about the semantics of format for, like how home groups function. I mean, if we want to get into, do we want to get into tradition 4 right now? I mean, we can, but this would be considered a step meeting, not a topic meeting.
And no need to
Is a
talk
step
about
not a topic?
No,
No, a step is not a topic.
they aren't.
a square's a rectangle.
If you
but a
look- if you
rectangle's
look-
not a
Thank you,
square.
Donnie. Thank you, Donnie.
If you look in any meeting schedule, there's a difference between a topic meeting and a step or tradition meeting.
So is a tiger a cat?
Semantics.
No, okay. A tiger is a cat, and a cat is a tiger.
They're different.
No,
They're
not.
different.
Semantics.
No, they're both felines, so they're not different.
Not a topic meeting. It's a step
Nitpicking.
meeting.
It is certainly a topic. Anyway, tonight's topic of discussion
Tonight's step meeting.
is making amends in recovery, and we're
Or
going
we could say it's step 9. It's fine. Yeah.
Semantics.
semantics. We're going to be talking about making amends in recovery, and we're
While working step 9.
while working step 9. So I'm going to turn it over to our good friend Donnie to share his experience with that with us, and then we'll discuss.
Sure.
Take her away, buddy. Pitter
Cool.
patter.
Pitter patter. Let's do it. So, step 9, for those who don't know, is what comes after making a list of people that you have wronged in active addiction, in recovery, just in life, and becoming ready to take the jump and actually confront those people whenever possible and make those amends.
Confront sounds like the wrong word.
All right, yeah, confront, just talk.
Approach these
in
people.
a loving manner to basically put it behind us, and make peace with those things so we can take that weight, so to speak, off of our conscience if it might still be weighing down on us for stuff that we did in the past. Now, we, of course, don't forget these things, the fact that we did them, but, in talking to these people and kind of letting them know that, that's where I was in my life. I have grown so much since then. That's not the person I aim to be anymore. And I hope that you can forgive and, forgive and, I'm sure not forget, but at least forgive me for those wrongdoings. And this is kind of the end of a long process in, recovery step work where we kind of in steps 4 through 9, where we are putting together like a pretty extensive inventory of these events, of the specific traits that led us to commit those acts, and then finding out why we acted that way. And then kind of once we've cataloged them all, and we were in a mental space to to amend that, we'll go forth and do that. So my list has been made. It's not a very long list because
You're a pretty good guy.
in my life I always try to
he's a great guy.
straighten up and fly right, as Nat King Cole would say.
Oh, that's a great song. Good reference.
Yep, Nat King Cole Trio. So I've always tried to be that good person, and not really kind of get on anybody's bad side, because I am a Libra.
Jesus. Okay.
Love it.
I am on the Libra Scorpio cusp as far as zodiac signs go.
Yeah.
And I definitely exhibit the traits of I like balance. I like everyone to get along. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. But that isn't to say that I haven't ruffled some feathers, usually in motivation for my own gain.
Quick question. I want to
Yeah.
pause real quick.
Sure.
Eric, has Donnie ever ruffled your feathers?
No.
I'm going to have to second that. No, you've never ruffled my feathers either.
I have ruffled some people's feathers. And it may not even be things that people know I did, but the point is that things that I have done may be on my mind, and I'm ready to make peace with those things and move on. If we're going to get specific, there's been, usually out of resentment towards people, I have maybe tried to manipulate situations and kind of like sabotage people's relationships for my own personal gain in a very selfish manner, because I was in a different mindset where I was so important, that how could they, how could they do that to me? Like that was their motivation to hurt me. So I would take those feelings, let them stew, and then try to manipulate things. And so, for my own favor, that's one of the things that, I still kind of feel bad about. We don't need to name names, but you guys probably know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
One of those parties is no longer alive. So it's,
Wait, what?
yeah,
What are we?
Andy.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's unfortunately no longer with us, because he kind of lost his way and wasn't able to find it again. But, I haven't actually made any of these amends yet to the people that deserve them. But, because I know it's more than just saying sorry. And I hear people say that all the time. It's not an original thought by me to just go to say, hey, sorry about that, my bad. Because that is, essentially meaningless.
Yeah.
Because people have heard sorry over and over and over again. And this is just another one. The point is to amend behavior, change. Think about an amendment to the Constitution. It's a change, hopefully for the better, but we don't need to, that's a whole other thing. But I haven't actually made any of these amends. So some of them are going to be easier. Like my grandmother, I don't know if I mentioned it the first time I was on here, but the last time I saw my grandmother alive, when I was still using at a family function, she was old. I didn't know that it was going to be the last time I saw her, but I didn't really care that she was there, or that, I wasn't really interested in talking to her or hanging out with her. I was just more interested in like getting high with my cousin in the basement, and that unfortunately was the last time that I saw her. And it's not something that's crushing me anymore, but it's still kind of it sucks,
Yeah.
It sucks that I wasn't able to, like, I don't know, maybe get to know her better, because as I get older, I don't have any more grandparents left. And now that I'm older, I feel like I would have appreciated them so much more, as far as, like, just learning about them, you know, getting life lessons and such. But you know, that's an amends obviously that I can't make directly to her. I don't even know where she is buried or if she's buried or whatever. But you know, that's an amends that has to come in my day-to-day life.
Is there an app for that? Can you look up where people are buried?
I don't know.
Let's do it.
We could create an app for that.
Why?
I'm pretty sure that the Church of Latter-day Saints has that already.
But if,
Oh, well, yeah. Of course
I
they
mean,
do.
I can see that being used in like nefarious ways, though.
That's a good point.
Grave robbers.
Yeah.
You know,
I want my watch back.
Interesting fact, real quick. Did you know people in like ancient Egypt, like sort of post ancient Egypt, anyway, would dig up mummies and eat them because they thought it brought them longer life?
dope.
That
they-
was one of the reasons
Actually,
for grave robbing, because
tight.
they would grind up the mummies and like make drinks and put them in their food.
Excellent. Good for them. Did they
We
cook them
digress.
or?
I don't know.
They probably-
I don't know if you have to, because they're kind of like brined a little bit, sort of, in like the mummification process. Yeah. Or like
So-
salted.
But
I don't
anyway.
know. Sorry.
No, that's a very interesting thing, and I hope to talk to you more about it someday.
Yes, we don't know if she's buried, where she's buried.
Yeah.
Go for there.
So the
weird.
amend comes with my day to day. You know, not taking people for granted that are in my life. You know, I have a lot of family members left, and actually I'm going to see a bunch of them on Sunday. You know, we're getting like I guess an end of summer family picnic, some of the extended family together. I see them maybe once or twice a year, and we always have a good time. But when I'm around them, I try to be present. You know, and you know, we all get along. Nobody's like feuding with each other. So I try to just value that time, because I know it is limited. And that same can be said for the people in my life, you know, my other family, or just anybody that is in my life. You know, I don't want to take people for granted,
Yep.
especially if I, you know, care about them or value that relationship I have with them. You know, who knows what can happen. I don't want to take anybody for granted, because, you know, it speaks for itself. So that's one that I kind of have to work on day to day. You know, other ones involve like another. I don't know if I told the story on my last one again about my friend who, when I was a freshman in college, who fell over the railing and hurt himself.
Yep.
Like I know he's good now. You know, he's married, he's got kids, he's still lives in his hometown, which is my hometown, so to speak. And I know he's doing great, but like I feel really bad because we kind of like messed up his life a little bit by not taking him to the hospital that night.
Yeah.
You know, who knows what could have happened. But, you know, by the same token, you know, that was, I guess, meant to be.
Yeah.
You know, so you can take some solace in that. But, you know, next time I see him, I do plan, if I see him again, or maybe I could reach out to him, you know, and say, like, look, man, I feel bad about that night, even though it was 10 years ago. You know, I was more interested in, like, enjoying myself than worrying about your well-being. So, you know, I hope to have that lifted off of my conscience as well. And various other ones, you know, that are not, like, I pushed away my parents, you know, which can kind of go in the same vein as my grandmother. Like, when I'm getting high, I don't want to hang out with my mom and dad, even though I was kind of smoking weed with my mom. And that was always weird for me, though. But she grew up in Southern Maryland in the 70s, so I know she's had her experience. But, you know, and part of me is, as far as like actually taking the step and making these amends, I have some trouble actually doing it, you know, because it's been so long that it was like that. It's like I already know what they're going to say. It's like, you know, we're so proud of you. You know, you're doing great. We've always been proud of you. You know, it's fine. But I know that is not good enough. I can't just make assumptions about that. You know, like, it's not about what they say. It's about me saying it to them. So they know that I know that that's not my aim anymore, is to be a good son, to be a good family member. And that being said,
As soon as you just said that, I thought of The Good Son with fucking Elijah Wood and Macaulay Culkin. Great movie.
never saw it.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Macaulay Culkin ultimately is the evil son, and Elijah Wood's the good one. And I was like, Donnie would be Elijah Wood.
And he's a little wiener, isn't he?
No, he's not a wiener. He's just not the evil twin.
Oh. So
there you go.
Anyway,
Sorry.
that being said, I need to call my parents more. They don't live around here. I don't see them on the regular. I'll see them on Sunday. Every time I talk to them, they're like, why don't you call us a little more often? Which I could say, oh, I'm so busy, but that's not a good enough answer. I mean, I am busy.
Do they call you?
Sometimes, yeah. Usually when I am thinking, wow, I haven't talked to mom or dad in a while. I should probably, just check in and see how things are going with them. So that's I guess part of the amends that I will make is, as far as day to day, is to just be more involved. Because they know I have a life up here. They know I have a lot going on, which is awesome. Which is why I, part of my aim is to have a busy life. One of the main things I wanted when I got clean was to have a full life. Mm-hmm. I remember saying it to my sponsor early on. It's like I don't want to be like strung out at the end of the day because I've been up all day like using or something. I want to be strung out because maybe not even strung out, but just tired because I was working. I was contributing. I was the person that I would make fun of when I was using. The person who got up and went to a job each day and didn't have the kind of fun that I was interested in having. Yeah. But anyway. Let me try to think here. The other ones that I gotta make, like a lot of people have a lot of financial amends because, they either stole or borrowed money they never paid back, and that's like they say to make that list separately,
which is actually like really prominent with like the gamblers we've had on the pod. Like a lot of their amends are mostly to themselves because of. Financially, I suppose.
Oh, I'm sure.
But some of those people had this is directly applicable to them because that one guy we just had racked up $65,000 worth of debt in 3 years.
Yeah.
Just strictly through gambling.
Yeah, that's nuts. So that's a whole process to make that. I don't have a lot of financial amends. I don't owe money to anybody other than the Department of Education for my student loans.
Yes.
There are a few, I stole some items from stores, and basically when I get the opportunity, when I'm in those stores, I'm basically just going to pay for somebody's stuff,
That's cool.
Yeah, just
I like that.
Or, yeah, just pay for somebody's stuff, or... if I'm in a drive-through line or if I'm at a restaurant, just, hey, that table over there, tell my waiter, give me their check. I got it, and that's one of those things maybe you see online, those people who like to record video of themselves doing stuff like that.
So humble.
Yeah, very humble. Look at me, doing this. Don't get me wrong; it's very heartwarming to see that people are good like that in the world. But would they have done it if it wasn't on camera?
I mean, what's their intentions behind that?
Right. What are their motives? Do they actually want to do something good for somebody, or do they want to actually let people see them do something good for somebody? So people will think that that's how the kind of person they are. It's all about what you do when nobody's watching.
Exactly.
Huh?
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
I'm through that yawn.
Yeah. And I guess...
Well, that's real pseudo humility when you're doing something for...
It's a humble brag.
Yeah. It's...
kind of.
Yeah. It's just gross. Oh, look at how many people I'm helping. I hate when celebrities do that. They're doing some sort of charitable work, and there's sometimes they can't help it. Sometimes they can't help it, and cameras just happen to be there. Other celebrities
You love the celebrity thing.
Anybody.
You can look at this also from like a foundation perspective as well. Like, I mean, it's PR, right? So like you
free publicity.
gotta do the publicity thing.
But that sucks.
Well,
When you're in the public eye, you want people to
you
think
want
good about you.
Yeah, you want good publicity. So if you're gonna start a foundation and do a charity, then and you're gonna donate so much money or do something, you
But
want
don't they
people to
say
notice
that
it.
all publicity is good publicity?
It is, but
That is not true.
Look at
Not
Ray
true.
Rice.
Look at Antonio Brown right now.
Yeah, look at Ray Rice.
I mean, he's in the news constantly.
yeah.
That's not
Probably not by the time this episode airs, but
He's-
at this current moment in early September, he is in the news constantly.
Yeah, and he's going to make tens of millions of dollars without playing a single down of football.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress.
Yeah. All
We
right.
digress.
So yeah, that's something you can do too. And I remember I got some inspiration from that. You know, David, when you were on your 9th step, we were out to eat up in North Lake Towson or something. I don't know if you remember. After Awana one night, you gave the waitress like a really big tip. Do you remember that? And she tried to deny it. Mm-hmm. And you were just like insisted. You know, you weren't even making a big deal about it. It's like, no, it's yours.
Yeah.
You know. And that was like, that's a really cool thing. That's another thing you might see online people doing. It's like, call the waiter over, get the camera ready. Here's $100 tip.
Yeah.
Again, it's
I do remember
heartwarming
that.
to see. Mm-hmm. Lets you, I guess, be part of the good.
Yes.
You know, better to
Exactly.
be part of the good than the bad. I guess depending on what your view of the world is, but probably the hardest one, or the one that is going to take the most time, because it's not just like a one event, is the one to me. You know, and I've been to enough of these step meetings to hear people say, "I put myself first," or "I forgot to put myself on the list." You know, and ultimately the one who received the most harm from all this turmoil was myself. You know,
Yeah.
and there's two ways to look at it. Who knows where I would be if I didn't take that path? But I am where I am because I took that path. You know, if I didn't like screw around in school and all that stuff, I might be very successful. I guess from a financial point of view. Mm-hmm. But there's different measures of success. If because of all the stuff that I did and the path I took, I'm the person I am. Every decision I've ever made has led me right here to this spot, which is something that's pretty cool. So I basically have to forgive myself for, or maybe just not. Yeah, obviously forgive myself for the things that happened.
Have you forgiven yourself?
I'm working on it. I'm working. I say I have to, and not I did.
No, I know.
I'm working on it.
Have you forgiven yourself, Eric?
For what?
What do you mean for what?
I'm asking for what?
For just any harm that you did to yourself in the past?
To myself.
Yes.
To just me.
Have you
Forgiven
forgiven
yourself.
Not to
yourself
others?
for what you did to you?
I'm good with me. Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
just being taking other people out of the equation, right? Just myself.
You. What you did to you.
If you look, in my opinion, every day that I do this and move forward, I am making that, like, I'm living that amends.
True.
Yeah.
So every day that I am becoming better and like progressing, that's an amends to myself.
Yes.
So-
but I also think he's playing like
Like I stunted my growth.
and
Okay.
yeah.
Well, but you can't change that.
Exactly right.
So like, why dwell on something that you can't change?
But
You
he's
can
sort
only
of
move forward.
I think Donnie was sort of like hinting at like the what if game that you can like play in your brain.
Well, yeah, I know, but it's not going to happen unless
Right.
you have a time machine.
You're right. You can only, it's just something you may be thinking about someday in the shower. Or
I know, and it's not a bad thing to think about,
Yeah.
but like you just keep going forward, and
Yeah.
doing new things and like trying different stuff. Like,
And that exactly is the part of the making the amends to myself is to, act in spite of those things and move forward. You know, the main thing that stunted me or that I have to forgive myself for is just being so just afraid of everything.
And that's what if is.
Yeah.
What if in like not being like doing a living amends to yourself is just putting up a fucking wall between like, you know, your future.
Yeah,
'Cause, I mean,
exactly, because you're
you're-
just dwelling on the past.
Yeah, you're just
and
thinking
not
about the
thinking
past.
forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the what's going on here is to move forward, to focus on the future, focus on the here and now. You know, what's done is done, obviously, and it's always been, in my opinion, even though sometimes I don't want to accept it, that you know, the right thing always happens. You know, there's no such thing as the wrong thing happening, because what happens happened, and it couldn't have happened any other way. So how could it be the wrong thing? You know.
There's so many ways to extrapolate that, but yeah, I know what you're
So
saying.
when you're in a situation, like say something happens, like I lost my job, hypothetically, I hope I don't lose my job, but if I did, that would suck. Like that'd be bad. You know, I lost my source of income. You know, I kind of, you know, there's a lot of things that have to happen at that point. I might dwell on that fact that night or that week afterwards and just be like, you know, what could I have done to prevent that from happening? That shouldn't have happened.
Or what you could do is you could look at it as an opportunity
Right.
to move your career into a different direction
Yeah.
and to find a new like path.
And that is the flip side of it.
Yeah, but like, and then there's also like the confluence of all the decisions that go on around us that we don't have control over that influence
Yes. Well,
everything that happens.
That's step 3 though. Like,
I
you
know,
don't-
but
you don't have
I'm just saying I'm extrapolating. I'm
unpacking
I'm
it.
pulling threads a little bit right here. But like,
I
Yeah.
don't really think that, but that doesn't pertain to you. Like that's
sure it does.
The other people's like decisions. Like I mean,
Absolutely.
but you're the one making the next decision.
So,
Yes.
So I get what you're saying. Obviously, the answer is turn it over. You know, turn it over.
Yeah.
That is the answer. But it sometimes doesn't get to that acceptance immediately.
Yeah, it's a process.
It's a process
100%.
of getting to that point. So to get to that point faster, it's a matter of not dwelling on, God, that shouldn't have happened. That sucks. What am I going to do? And just say, okay, that has happened. What now?
What now? Yep.
What now? And that, getting to that point, I wouldn't get there. Like I would never get there. It would take me a long time to get
Oh,
there.
yeah.
To what now?
To accepting what has happened. You know, getting dumped by people, not getting, not getting what I want.
Well, I mean, are you getting let go or are you getting fired? Because I mean, in my opinion, those are two totally different things.
Well, but he just used that. That's just an
That's an
example.
example.
Well, I know,
something
but I'm
bad that
asking
happens.
as an example, like how would you take those two things differently, or would you take them as the same thing?
I would probably take them the same way. I mean, I know if I get let go, I get severance and all that
Yes,
stuff. But
and also being let go might just be a numbers thing. It might not be about
Yeah.
like your actual
all right,
performance.
here's a case in point. I almost got a job with the federal government, like
Yes.
I remember that.
like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was looking like all
Did you
systems.
say 7 years ago?
Yeah, I
7
believe it was
years ago?
2012.
Yeah. It was,
So
no, I knew because I
was
knew
it?
you when you were going for
or it
that.
might have been 13.
Yeah.
So what happened was I was basically it was in the bag, but then all of a sudden I found out no, actually it's not, and in my mind I had already been making plans, you know,
I know.
and so I had to go back on those and accept that this stuff that I thought was going to be basically like I have arrived and everything's going to be fine now, to back to the drawing board. And I was resentful about that for a long time, because I was like, just thinking, damn, that shouldn't have happened. I wish that could have happened, but, and just going in that circle over and over in my mind. It took me a long time to, what they say, it didn't happen to you, it happened for you.
Or around you. Yes.
Or around you. You experienced that. Like the world happens around you.
You used a word during that like you expected.
Yes, and that's
So your expectations,
were unrealistic.
yeah, I mean,
and this is all stuff that you have to be vigilant on in keeping up in in your day-to-day life, is not having unrealistic expectations, and being okay with whatever happens.
having super low expectations.
Yeah, or just realistic. Is low and realistic the same thing?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah, I guess. If
I mean, with the world we live in now, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having low expectations of people is realistic.
Yeah. So basically, it goes back to the right thing always happens. Whatever does happen.
God, I sound cynical. That's terrible.
Yeah.
You're coming off very cynical right now.
Am I?
Wait until the meeting after the meeting.
I'm not going to wait for anything.
So
I might have
basically,
shit to do.
And that's just what I had to understand in my life to make peace with all these things that I thought were wrong or bad for me.
Okay.
And this is going to sound corny as hell, but you've seen the second Matrix movie, right? Matrix Reloaded?
I have.
Do you remember the meeting with the Merovingian the first time? When they are up there, and then because the Oracle told Neo, go here, meet this person, this is what you have to do to get the keymaker.
When's the last time you fucking watched the second Matrix?
I just have seen it a lot. Do you know what I'm talking about, David?
Yes,
I mean,
okay.
vaguely.
The plot line isn't important, but basically what happens
You're right.
It's not.
in the scene, it doesn't go the way that the Oracle told them it would. Like, do this, be here, and you'll get to this person that you need to get to. It doesn't work right. So they're leaving, and they're basically like, that didn't go right. Maybe we did something wrong. And Morpheus says, what happened and couldn't have happened any other way. And there's, some truth with that in life,
Yeah.
I like it.
But on the other side, there's infinite possibilities to way that could have happened.
But it only happened one way.
But
Yes, but it only happened one way, and after and looking at it now, obviously it couldn't happen any other way,
David,
because we're here now.
in this dimension, yes. But maybe in another dimension, maybe it went a different way.
Exactly.
Yeah, in the
dude,
multiverse.
But you aren't in that multiverse.
I'm just
You're in
saying, I
this
smoked a lot of
multiverse.
DMT in my time, and there's some shit out there, man. There's some fucking alternate possibilities and realms.
I guess
that-
we
I
just
feel like I need to
do-
get this guy like a fish bootleg and
Do we need to do some ayahuasca or something?
I might be going to Peru, everybody. No, I'm kidding.
You gonna experiment with ayahuasca and stuff?
Hell
Go
no.
on a
Peyote.
spirit quest.
It won't be an
Sweat
experiment.
lodge. Anyway, so
just
that
gave me chills.
that long drawn out explanation is how I try to make peace with the things that I think have been a detriment to my development.
Is Morpheus your higher power?
No.
Okay,
Lawrence Fishburne is my higher power.
fair enough.
So
Cowboy Curtis is what I mean.
Cowboy Curtis, get the fuck out of here.
Anyway,
right.
so the amends to myself, and it's hard. The main thing is to take all those things we talked about, turn it over, manage expectations, and basically, take a step out and step through fears, and not worry about the outcome, and just fucking try.
Yeah.
I shared a meeting last Saturday about that, and I talked about that, about the amends to myself. So what does that mean? What does that look like in action? All right. So you can talk about on the job. I don't want to be in the same position I'm in forever. I think I don't want to get somber or whatever, but I would hate that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm right.
So
right
what
there
do you
with
do? You talk to the people that you need to talk to, and you do the things that they say you need to do to get there, and just try and make the effort, and you've done your part. You're not being afraid. You're being fearless, hopefully, or less afraid, and hopefully you get to what you're looking for, and hopefully that is quote unquote God's will. If that's the terminology you subscribe to. And if not, that's okay. I tried, and trying is good enough. It's better to try and fail than not try at all, which is how I lived. I lived the complete opposite of that. It was better to not try at all than try and fail, because I couldn't live with me not being good enough to do something that I wanted to do. You know, and that's the other thing that kind of stunted my growth, is just being afraid of failure. And I probably talked about that last time too. That's just a huge thing. And it's not just with jobs, it's with like school, it's with basically anything that I don't know the outcome of. Women, you know, that's another big one.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I'm at. It's something I struggle with, you know, and that's not news to anybody. You know,
It's news to people who are listening.
Right. Well, yeah.
You don't know them. It's fine.
That's fine. I'd like to know them.
But yes, if anybody listening wants to get in contact with Donnie, feel free to slide into Eric or I's DMs.
Yep.
And we will get you in contact with this beautiful human being.
About 6 feet tall.
Moving on.
Long walks on the beach. But yeah, so...
Doesn't everybody say that?
Well,
That's just like a standard, isn't it?
after a while, the walk on the beach can get kind of miserable.
Yeah, your ankles and calves start to hurt.
I walked like 3 miles on the beach.
I like
when I
a
was in
nice
North
long
Carolina,
walk off
and
a short pier.
by the end of it, I was ready to just be like, I'm just done.
That was a good joke.
It was a good one.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
When I said Florida State Seminole vesicles, none of you laughed. I thought it was pretty funny.
So I guess back on the topic at hand is just being fearless with relationships. Friendships, that's easy. You know, I don't have to worry about easier
Okay.
than romantic relationships. You know, I've been in romantic relationships, some that were, you know, that I was perfect, that I was all about, some that I wasn't all about, some that it took me a while to figure out. But in this time now, you know, it's something that I've struggled with because I have been hurt, and it's hard to push that away. And, you know, obviously it happened, and it's going to affect my decisions, or it's going to be on my mind, but I have to not let it be the thing that I expect, you know.
All right, I'm gonna get actually, like, I guess personal with you
Okay.
for this question.
No need to name names.
I'm not gonna name names. At what point? How long does that process take
What process?
for letting that pain go?
Well, the last time,
It's been 2 years.
I want to.
I know how long it's been.
I know it's been 2 years, and that's, you know, it's not, and it is, of course, it's still something that, you know, that I'll never forget, and you know, and it is what it is. It's basically a part of me at this point. What?
Keep going. I'm just
Okay.
signaling.
And for the most part, that is pretty much, you know, behind me. you
Okay.
know? And I think that I'm at the point where I can let that not be at the forefront of my mind when pursuing something.
Well, okay, so I guess here's a better question, right? Like, so you have this experience with this one woman, right? And you can even, if you want to look at your relationship, if we want to take your inventory on your relationships, the three big ones that I know of, they've all had different qualities to them. Like, but aren't each of your each of the intimate relationships that you're going into, they're all unique. They're all individual.
Yeah.
So why would you base the previous relationship on a future relationship? Because I mean, you're entering a whole new situation with a whole different person.
Right.
So I mean, there really is nothing from.
Everybody has baggage, dude.
Well,
I'm asking.
You're
though,
talking.
why?
You're looking at it very
Yes.
objectively, which is
That's what Eric
a way
does.
that I like to look at things objectively.
I don't know. how to
And
do
you're
that.
right. You know, that is the goal. You know, is to treat each situation as its own unique situation and not assume that things of the past are going to happen here. Because I've been in situations where, like, the other person was all ready for it.
But intimacy is not objective.
Well, I mean,
When it starts, it can be.
I guess
I fully disagree.
But we're very different like you
We are
act
very different
you
people.
act much more emotionally than I do.
That is very true. I'm not going to argue that at all.
I don't act on emotion.
No, you don't. I'm a
So-
very emotional creature. You're a very
So
logical.
you
creature.
saying this, it
you're
doesn't
like
make sense.
You're like.
What do you mean? It doesn't make sense to,
me,
you.
to
Yes.
me, yeah.
So here's what you
Girl
guys are.
heart, you fucking Grinch.
Here's where you guys are in the Rush song hemispheres.
Yes.
Book
Yes. Here we go. Now we're getting.
All right.
Now we're getting deep.
There's a
Hit it.
battle between thought, the brain, and heart. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
Eric, you're on the side of Apollo. Okay.
I'm fine.
You're on the side of Dionysus.
Absolutely love it.
All right. You were all about logic. You were all about love and
Yeah.
free expression and all that stuff.
Sex, drugs, and rock and
both
roll. Yeah.
are good in their own way, but they're not, universally one. If they were to work together, then you have a very good union there, which you guys
There
are
it is,
doing
buddy.
right now.
There it is, buddy.
Okay.
We're a Rush song.
We're a Rush song.
A very good one at that.
Very, very good one. Yeah.
So basically, in that situation, you have a circumstance where those two are binded together.
Yeah.
With the god of balance.
He's the yin to my yang.
Yeah.
You're the white side of the yin yang with a little bit of black. I'm the black one with a little bit of white.
Is that like because you think you're like tough?
No. I just think my soul is just a void with just like a silver lining.
I thought I was the one with no emotions though, and feelingless.
Yeah,
So wouldn't I be the void?
But see,
White,
that's
right?
that's the inner part of
sure?
you.
Is
I think
white
that's
the-
the inner part of you. I think you
uh,
have like the inner darkness, and you keep everything else pretty light
Is
and,
the white
and
the
logical on
feeling?
the outside.
Is the white the feeling and the black the logic?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess it's interchangeable.
Yeah.
But the point is that it's possible to bring those together into a perfect sphere.
But like, how much more black could this get?
So that is the,
Answer's
and I
none.
don't even know what we were talking about there.
I
but
mean, we were talking about relationships and
objectively
looking at them
versus-
objectively.
yes.
There we
like,
go. Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I think approaching a situation objectively instead of emotionally, you'll. I don't know. I feel like you're less likely to get hurt in the beginning.
I agree with that in the beginning, yes,
Yeah.
because you're not.
You have to open yourself up eventually,
Yeah.
like, or else it's not going to work. But at
you
least in
also
the
have-
beginning, you
yeah.
can kind of gauge it.
So the
Well,
goal
yeah.
is to put in effort,
Well, yeah.
basically, and try. Because I'm good at not trying, as I've mentioned here previously. So again, in the spirit of the amends, because it's stuff that I want to do. I don't want to be 50 years old and never started a family and never found my soulmate, quote unquote. So yeah, I don't want that. There are some people who are totally fine with that.
On the flip side of that coin, if it happened, would you be okay with it?
I guess I'd have to. I'd have to be.
But let me pull on that thread a little bit more. You talked about how you took more of like an apathetic approach towards, I don't know, generally anything. Like I wouldn't try, and therefore I wouldn't be disappointed. Mm-hmm. Now, would you say that at times in your personal life you've done that as an approach to women? Just like
Apathetic?
I'm not going to make an effort right now because I don't feel like it.
Yeah. Probably in the last couple of years, I could tell myself that I'm going to try, but then I just don't. Mm-hmm. Mostly because, like that, it did hurt a lot. You guys remember how
Yeah.
I was after that?
Yeah.
It was fucked up.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I watched The Life Aquatic the next day,
Oh God,
and
you cried, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he said, "I wonder if he remembers me."
I also want to touch on Eric's question because, as far as women's relationships and intimacy, being a part of you and trying to baggage and everything and having every relationship sort of be objectively looked at. That's tough. I'm more of an emotional person, and I have really come to believe that a lot of my past relationships are kind of like horcruxes for me. Like they're like part of me got split, and they're gonna be there forever.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, you're not going to forget about it.
Me personally, I like there's a little piece of me with certain relationships throughout my life, and they're not all like necessarily in like intimate relationships, but in like different relationships throughout my life. Like a piece of me has like split off and like stayed there, and I always know that that piece of me is in that relationship or tied with that person.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
Well,
like
it's part of what makes you you. Like,
yes, and exactly. And so a lot of those interactions shape the way things trickle down.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing that you guys know it is my want, WONT, is
That's won't.
without the apostrophe. It's a word. But anyway,
It is?
yeah, let me see here. WONT. I believe. Or is it want? One's customary behavior in a particular situation.
Love it.
Yep,
Oh.
noun, adjective of a person in the habit of doing something accustomed. Constance, as was her wont, had paid her little attention.
Huh. I learned something.
Yeah,
today.
me too.
I did not know that
anyway,
vocabulary.
you guys know that I can self-sabotage. You know, I'll say that I'm doing this effort.
I do want to go ahead.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you something after this.
Yeah, and this is a big thing that I have to work on. Is you know, in the spirit of trying to, you know, form those intimate relationships, is try to form them with people that are available to have them.
Well, okay, so that's a whole different thing. Yes, there is that. Well, I wasn't ready for you to say that part.
Because I go after women
You-
that are not available,
Which is, yeah,
which is unrealistic expectations.
that's unrealistic expectations.
Which is me convincing myself, yeah, I'm actually putting myself out there only to.
But
know.
are you putting yourself out there? I mean, are you really? If you're putting yourself out there for someone who's not going to take you because, like, you know, they're
It's
in a
a-
relationship
it's a
or they're
defense
unavailable.
mechanism.
I know, but are you actually putting yourself out there?
I've
Maybe I
been the
think
other
I am.
guy before, and it's bad.
I know. I have too.
No, I'm asking
Yeah.
though, are you really putting yourself out there, or are you telling yourself that you're putting yourself out there because you're like, oh, I put myself out there,
Love works in mysterious ways, my friend.
No, I get what you're saying.
you know, but
That's what I
you
mean
know
by-
the outcome before going
That's
into
why
it.
I mean by self-sabotage. I'll convince myself that that I'm doing something different, you know.
Well, I mean that's not.
But what if it
different, though.
works one time?
First off, okay, I want to be real about this. Starting a relationship out of someone else's relationship is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm
But we
I'm
also
gonna
got
stand by
Layla,
that.
one of the greatest songs ever.
Listen to me. Listen to me. If you start
Donnie and I are on the
your
same page.
foundation on shit, it's not going to be built up very well or be that sturdy.
Tell that to Johnny Cash and June Carter.
I don't
That's a tragic
think-
story.
What if you want to be a good person and live a good life, stealing someone else's like person, like because you think you're better for them than they are, is like it's fucking bullshit. And I can't get down with that.
They ended up spending 50 years of their lives together. Maybe
That's fine.
Maybe they were choosing the wrong doors and the wrong avenues before that, and then once they finally opened up the right door,
Do you hear what you're saying though? You're saying that people are
I'm not
essentially
saying it's
things-
100% the
you're
right
saying
way to do
people are
things.
essentially things that you can just take.
no,
Yes.
I am not saying that
Yes.
in any way whatsoever.
You verbalized it that way, but I know that's not what you meant.
No, that is
That
not.
is
that
what you're saying.
It might have verbally come out that way.
That's-
No, I'm also a firm believer in soulmates and just
A firm believer in soulmates.
Yes,
The
absolutely.
percentage of have you ever looked up the percentages of actually finding your quote unquote soulmate? How many
and they
people?
live in
See, this is fucking. This is what I'm talking about. You're all fucking logic, man. You can't be logic in
and
fucking
that's-
love.
And they happen to live
Like,
in the same
there's
town
gotta
as
be-
you. And,
You grew up with them. You went to grade school together.
There's gotta be some soul there. There's certain people I have met in my life where literally, once they show up, it's where the fuck have you been?
I think going back to the
And
thing,
it completes a part of me.
I want to go back real quick because soulmates will never agree on that.
First of all, I don't think you've done your research on soulmates, and you probably believe that just two people are soulmates. You actually have lots of soulmates, not just one.
Were you not the person who laughed at him talking about his astrology symbol, and now you're talking to me about soulmates?
I think I have a way of describing what David is saying.
Think about that for a second.
I think I have a way to
Go fuck yourself.
to explain this more simply. And let's say you've got a round hole or square hole.
Okay,
we're
and
back.
you can't fit a square peg in a round hole.
Yes.
There's a lot of people with round holes that can fit in your round pegs that can fit in your hole, but
Sure.
yeah.
This will be edited later.
Okay.
For that innuendo. No,
let
keep
me-
going.
But that's what I mean is that a lot of people can plug in to that.
Yes.
But you're saying infidelity is the catalyst for a relationship.
What I'm saying is that is
Is that a strong foundation?
No,
Is
it isn't.
infidelity a strong foundation for the beginning of what people believe is a quote unquote soulmate relationship?
so.
Is
If we're gonna talk objectively, you can say that yes, it has happened. Is it something that is maybe healthy to try every time?
No.
Fuck no.
Exactly.
And that is my pattern, which I'm trying to break away from.
yes.
But just as in an analogous situation, just as recovery is individual to everybody and you do what is best for you, it's the same with any relationship.
Why are you defending infidelity? Why are you defending that? That is so I can't get over this. That's not a good behavior.
I'm not saying it's a good behavior. I'm saying sometimes
You're saying sometimes it's okay. That's what you're saying.
If it
I'm
leads to your
saying-
soulmate.
there has been instances where
There's three parties.
in the end,
though. What
it
happened to
ends-
the other person? Two people
maybe they
made out.
found who the fuck they were supposed to be with originally too.
What if they were supposed to be with that one person, but this other person came in and took their person, and now their life's completely fucked up because this other
We
person...
just talked about this with Morpheus. That's the only way it could have happened.
So
Could it, though?
we're kind of.
I mean,
No,
because
because that's just what I the fuck just said.
So-
There's a million fucking choices and there's a million different possibilities. And I realize I'm peaking right now. And I'm sorry.
I just think that, if we're talking about living
talking-
our best life, infidelity is not the way to go about
Yes,
that.
I shouldn't.
Then explain to me Johnny Cash and June Carter.
I can't
why are we getting
explain
hung up on that?
Yeah, I know. Why
Because
are
it's a
we-
perfect example of somebody who was helped to recover by a woman, and
thought she
ultimately his life got better.
I thought she was divorced when they got together.
I don't believe they were.
In the movie, they were, I think.
Regardless.
Would that be regardless, though? Because then she would be separated from her husband. So it wouldn't be like a situation where this, Johnny Cash is coming in being like, I'm taking your woman, blah, blah. I got June Carter now. No, it'd be like, oh, I love you. I love you too. Oh, we're starting from a good place. We're not starting from infidelity.
So,
Sorry.
yeah, we
Go
went
ahead.
off on a tangent there. And the main point I'm trying to make is that my pattern is to try to put my eggs in a very low success rate thing. And with people that I basically tell myself they're the ones you need to be with and go for it, knowing in my heart of hearts this isn't going to work, but I'll tell myself either way that yes, I'm putting forth the effort, but I already know what the outcome is. It's a defense mechanism to make me feel like I am trying something different, but when in reality it is not. So to do that is to fix that is to just basically not do that.
Yeah.
And and I guess with the whole vein of making amends to myself, is to trust the process.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trust the process. I know my quality. I know that I'm a quality person. Will told me I was the most eligible bachelor in our recovery circle, and
Will H.
yeah, and I was like, I like
that's-
that. I said, yeah, I like that. I'll take that.
Okay.
So it's a process. It's a process. I'm getting there. I'm open-minded, putting forth the effort, but also trying to not get down on myself. For any hiccups or downfalls or anything that don't work out. For example, I went out with somebody relatively recently, had a great time with her, on the first time that we went out, and she was very cool. I was like, yeah, I could see myself going out with her again. I waited too long to basically put forth, hey, let's do this again, and then, but she had the common courtesy to tell me, just thanks again for a good time. I'm seeing somebody now more exclusively. Wish you the best. And I was almost blown away by that, because nobody's ever
that's
done.
not how our generation works. We just ghost people.
Yeah, and I was blown away by that, because I have been on that reception of that see ya and figure it out kind of thing. And that sucks.
Did you respond equally cordially?
Of course I did.
Good for
I
you.
said I appreciate it. Wish you the best. Best of luck. No hard feelings.
Donnie's a good guy.
So,
Great guy.
so I wasn't upset about that.
No.
I was not
that's
upset
just the way
about
shit
that at all.
happens. No.
So yeah, that's an ongoing process of that's not like a one and done amend to myself. So I don't know. As I like to say, as a lot of people like to say, more will be revealed on that. So, that's I guess that's pretty much all there is to say about that.
That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah, about that particular topic, and then moving forward from here is just to not do things that would cause me to have to make amends in the future. Which comes with step 10, with that daily inventory and all that good stuff. So I can't say it enough. It is a process. I will fall short. That's just a reality of life, that I will fall short, and that's okay. So I guess that horse is beat dead.
Yeah, a little bit. All right.
So
What? One question?
each.
I
And
get
then
one fucking question.
and then the Twitter question. Yeah,
You're giving me one fucking question.
one question.
What's a Twitter question?
A question that was asked by Twitter. Someone from
By
Twitter.
one of our
When?
fans.
This one's going to be from August 29th.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Does that pertain to me or just a
Just in general.
No,
Okay,
it's
great.
just general.
Okay.
General question.
It's like, wow, someone has a question about me.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first, you fuck.
Okay, so actually, I'm not going to ask any of these questions. I'm going to
Oh,
ask
shit.
a relationship question.
Okay.
Why don't you do?
Okay.
so-
he's
That's
got
fine.
one question.
I have one question.
That's fine.
So you're talking about kind of like why all these different relationships aren't working out. And one thing that I've kind of realized about any relationship, whether that's intimate or like a friendship or family or whatever, there is like a give and take, and you do have to make certain concessions.
Yes.
And like, I mean, finding your quote unquote like perfect person, like one thing I always remember, and I don't know where I heard this or what meeting, is like you need to be able to love someone for their defects more than their assets. And like if you can't love someone for their defects, like it's not going to work out.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds right.
Are you willing to make like concessions to someone's personality? Like, can you get past their shortcomings? Can you like, find someone and be like, no, this person's not the perfect person, but I can get past this. I can work with that. Like, I don't need this person to be the perfect person, because the perfect person's not fucking ever going to come along.
And that was what I was going to say. That the perfect person doesn't exist. So are we talking about shortcomings like they some of the things that would annoy me? Let's see, like they maybe they chew with their mouth open.
Maybe they do.
Yeah,
that's their only defect.
Maybe that's something that I could look past. Definitely.
You know what I mean?
That's a very small thing. You know, my dad asked me one time when I was having a relationship issue, it's like, you have to decide, is this a big thing or a little thing? Mm-hmm. You know, if it's a little thing, no problem. If this is a big thing, you have to have some talks. You know, you can't just hold it in and then eventually be like, God damn it, why are you gonna do this? And just it
I do
just
that
blows
sometimes.
up.
Well, and are you willing to make those talks, like make that like issue known?
Yes.
In order to be
Yeah.
like, hey, like this is an issue for me. Let's address it. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess that, you know, the severity of which, you know, who knows what they could be. Let's think of a hypothetical.
So, all right. So let's say that the person that you are dating is always 10 minutes late and doesn't text you.
That's a little thing.
Yeah, I would be able to move.
Is that a thing you can just get past?
I think so.
Eventually.
Yeah.
He does it with me.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
he's late all the
saying,
time.
but like always.
It's just something, it's pretty
You know?
But yeah,
But-
I would consider that a little thing. It's
It's a
not
little
something
thing.
that is a red flag for me. You know.
Okay.
You know.
I'm probably 10 minutes late always.
You're like 20 minutes late each time.
That's not true. I'd say average 12.
So
but anyway.
what would be a big thing?
A big thing would be someone who.
How about shared finances?
That is something I don't have experience with.
All right, so let's say shared finances, and no matter what is happening, you know, the money. So let's say money's not being budgeted the way you would like money to be budgeted.
Oh yeah, that's
How
definitely.
do you move into that situation and create kind of a compromise?
Well, I know that finances are one of the main reasons why relationships end. So how do you have that discussion of, look, this is a concern of mine. I think that isn't a very adult thing to talk about reasonably. You know, I guess if you're talking about joint expenses, and because you're talking about my money and her money together, you know, I should have a say in that, in
Yes.
how that money is spent. You can have your own account and spend it however you want, but you know, I can't say how I would react if they say, hey, I need some money, you know, because I spent all my money. I think that there is middle ground to be met on that topic. I don't think it's a black and white type of thing. I think that I would be able to broach that subject and come to a resolution, you know, without being a doormat.
Actually, I have a great one.
Okay.
How about if someone cheats on you?
That's a second question. No, I'm kidding.
That's like an A to B.
No, it is.
You know, I have had experience with that. In older times, I was, you know, in a different mindset where I just wanted to be accepted by somebody, and I was like, all right, that's fine. You know, you still like me, right? You know, and that was fine. Other times, you know, it was basically the you know, the nail in the coffin, so to speak. That like, you know, like I don't have to stand for that. You know, I'm better than that. Mm-hmm. You know, it's touchy because I know couples that have gotten through that. Mm-hmm. You know, and I know my parents, for example. You know, that it ended. Mm-hmm. Other people I know, they work through it. Maybe I wasn't mentally prepared or adult enough to like find some middle ground on that. It was a black and white thing. If this happens, we're done. So I guess it depends on how I feel about the person, you know. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I would definitely have to voice those concerns and not hold it in and be like, how dare, blah, you know, how could you disrespect, you know, that's whatever. it's just it's a touchy subject, and I know it's hard to find a definitive answer because it depends on the person I'm with. But
There's a lot of ins and outs to that situation too. Like are we talking about somebody you've been dating for 10 months or somebody you've been married to for 10 years?
Well, I mean, you can just talk about the concept though.
Yeah.
Of infidelity.
Yes.
You know.
we're kind of circling back on that.
No, we'll circle back to that later.
Yeah.
Like in depth. But
Yeah. So
We circle back to it right now.
we kind of
it's okay.
we kind of already lit that fire. It's burning. Yeah.
I'd say
That's,
it's smoldering.
yeah. Got embers on that.
Got embers on that one.
So what was your question again? How would I treat that?
Yeah, how would you treat it? I mean, would you, I mean, like, obviously, it didn't work out one time. It worked out the other time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it didn't work out another time because I chose to be like, yeah, that's not gonna fly. Maybe it could be a situation where I feel like it's worth trying to work past.
Yeah. I mean, depending
like
on
it's-
where you are in the
Yeah.
relationship and what's going
Yeah,
on.
and 'cause I feel like I could have.
Like I said, the mitigating circumstances.
Right, it's worth diving into rather than just being, well, this happened, it's over, because then you're kind of like limiting. I'm kind of like limiting myself.
There's so many. It depends on a lot of things, man.
Yeah.
It really does. Like, yes, you're going into generalities, and you can you can give general answers, but it all depends on the situation.
Yeah, and I feel like I could have probably, and I don't want to like bring the word regret in, because it's just that's a matter of bringing up the past and stuff, and like thinking about how you could have done things differently.
It's kind of, to me,
The situation.
is it a slip or is it a relapse?
So,
Did
you I mean, does anyone remember the song, what's the song by Guilty Conscience by Eminem?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, do you remember there's, like, I think it's Grady. It's Grady's part, where Eminem is like, did you slip, fall, and land on his dick?
Yeah.
Again,
I understand
if you're
that.
talking situationally,
Yeah.
like, we have the capacity to make good and bad decisions.
Absolutely.
And if you're like, and honestly, like, as far as like open relationships and stuff like that, that's a totally different story.
Yeah, then you have
Yeah.
to,
Like, we're talking about, like, this is like, your intentions are not like within line with, the relationship's intentions. If
Agreed.
if you have an open relationship, do whatever the fuck you want. Like, that's what the guidelines are
Yes,
in your
that's like an
relationship,
agreed
right?
upon thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're like secretly going about doing all of this stuff, like, situationally, no matter what, like, your intentions weren't good.
Have you ever had sex with somebody you did not intend to have sex with, and it just sort of happened?
Usually I was fucked up.
Okay, I understand that.
I'm talking about this in, like, right now. I'm not talking about this in, like, oh yeah, like, I got drunk and forgot that, I wasn't really conscious. I was blacked out. Like,
Well, I'm not saying they're blacked out, but I'm saying there's a difference. But like, in my mind, there's like levels of infidelity. Like, if you had sex with somebody once, it's different than if you had an ongoing affair for 2 years. Like, those are two different things.
what are your intentions?
I understand
you know what I
the
mean?
intentions. I'm talking about like the actual infidelity.
What are the motivations behind these actions?
Well, you're not feeling something and you're seeking that feeling elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. but
Either way, it's a red flag. I'm not
Yes.
saying that. I'm just saying, how big is the fucking flag? Like, are we talking about like
opening day,
a little checkered flag at NASCAR? Like, is it that size flag, or is it full fucking Star Spangled Banner above a fucking fort size? Because that's bad. Like, if you find out your wife has been cheating on you for 2.5 years, that's a lot different than if she came to you and was like, I accidentally had sex with one of my coworkers at the
But
Christmas party.
those are different things, because you're talking about, like, someone coming to you and you finding out.
Exactly.
That's a different
That's what I'm saying.
situation. But, like, the motivations behind that
Agreed.
Is like, and I don't know, if you're sober and you just like, oh, I just fucked this person. Like, I don't know. It's a lot harder for me to understand that than like, oh, I didn't mean to have sex with them.
But yeah,
Like,
I know
you know,
exactly.
like-
So that I'm saying it. There's a lot of ins and outs, a lot of what have yous. Like,
If we're talking about how I would deal with the situation,
when it happened, did you find out, or were you,
it was every time told to me by the person,
okay?
which is a hard thing to have to admit.
Yes,
Like, that doesn't make it less wrong. Okay?
absolutely.
Coming from my family situation, that
On some level, did you like respect that admission though? On some level,
I guess on some level, I can't say that there was no respect there for it, but yeah, on some level, yeah, no one wants to admit that they did wrong, whatever their intentions may be. I guess on the whole, to sum it up, I like to think that I would be able to be an adult about it and not act out on emotion, talk logically, kind of have work both of those into the situation and come to a resolution. Now, what they say, fool me once, shame on you. Me?
you're pulling a George W. Bush right now.
Never get fooled again.
Well, you're not gonna fool me again.
Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make. To answer Eric's
You just need a
question about...
strategery.
Yeah, is our children educated? He said that one time. But to answer the question, how would I treat it? I wouldn't just cut and run.
Okay.
And I wish I
that's
had
fine.
possibly treated situations differently in the past.
I don't think that's the wrong answer. I just.
I don't think there is a wrong answer.
Yeah, that's my thought
There
on
is
that.
no wrong answer,
Yeah.
except for getting a gun and blowing both of them away.
Well,
that is the wrong
that's
answer.
Andy
That's Grady's answer.
That's great.
That's Andy Dufresne style.
But go ahead.
He was innocent. I actually watched Shawshank last night.
Very good.
Great movie.
All right.
All right.
Go
I
ahead.
have one
One question. That's
effing
it.
question.
That's all you get.
So this is going to be a question for everybody in the room because you didn't say I couldn't ask the same question twice. Technically 3 times because I'm going to answer it as well.
Did you forget?
No, I have it written here, but I want to know like how I want to word it.
Just read it.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie. Have you made any amends?
No, none of the direct ones. I guess you could say I'm working on the one to me.
Have you made any amends throughout your like recovery process?
To call it an amends, I'd say I've made types of them. Yeah, I've gone and apologized, sincerely for something that I had done. Yes.
I want one scenario, what it was, and the process.
Well,
Same for you, Eric.
what was the process?
I want a good one.
I
from
think
you, Eric.
I one time had gone to a person and said, "Look, I'm sorry for trying to put my hands where they don't belong."
What? Wait, what was the situation? What do you mean?
Well, I alluded to it earlier, manipulating people's,
I thought physically.
So
for
not
a second.
physical hands.
No,
Okay.
I went physical as well.
I went physical as well. I was like, who did you touch, Donnie?
I'm
Jesus.
speaking
Inappropriate.
Metaphorically speaking,
Okay, so
putting my hands where they don't belong. But
okay.
I can say in that situation, it was only because I was like in a spot where something was like I was getting involved with somebody again, so I wasn't like looking to mess with that anymore. So I was like, hey, sorry about that. I'm in this spot now. I don't need to screw with that anymore, and I apologize. Now that
Do I know who you're talking about?
probably we'll talk off
okay,
air about
yeah.
that. Maybe you do, but that was a long time ago, and I can't say that it will count. I still need to make that one again, because I think I revisited those behaviors down to after that. So, so I'd like to think it was sincere, or maybe I was only saying it because like something was happening. I had a new budding relationship in my mind. So
All right, Eric. I want the most difficult amends you had to make.
The most difficult?
Yeah, what was either internally or
Well, most of my amends is most of my amends were
Yeah, I think that's kind of like
living amends.
really.
I believe I only made 4 direct amends.
Okay.
One was to someone to kind of like who was just getting into recovery, and I thought it was like a good idea to help them like by doing an amends. One was with one of my ex-girlfriends.
What did you do? Give me one of them. What did you do? What did you have to make an amends for?
I think they were all relationships. Just
Okay.
me being a dick,
Okay.
you know.
I do know.
Yeah, I just wasn't, you know. Sometimes I don't know. I guess like I made an amends to like the girl I dated from us like for like 5 years. But you know, what do you do? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I just said I'm sorry. And
Did you mean it?
I mean, I feel bad that I, you know, led her along for like the extra few years, you know, that I was just using her family for drugs.
Is it still something that weighs on your conscience today?
No,
No.
Okay.
Probably. I could answer that for Eric.
not at all.
No,
Okay,
just
well,
turn
that's
it
good.
off.
Like a light switch.
Okay.
But
Hey, I feel guilty about that. Flip the switch. No, I'm good.
yeah, don't have those feelings, right?
Yeah, just shove them down.
Just turn them off.
Just
turn
cram
'em
them
off.
down
Turn
into
'em
your
off.
gut.
I just think that like it's the past, and
How do you turn off your feelings? And can I learn this trick?
well, I mean, you just got to think about it like
I can't do it, dude.
We dated years ago.
Yep.
I mean, at this point, we broke up 7 years ago.
Yeah.
That was 7 fucking years ago.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like
I mean, I've dated
I didn't
so
mean
many
specifically in
people
those
between that
instances.
time. You know,
Yes.
like, and even like, you know, another person that was, you know, I dated in recovery. Mm-hmm. Like, I made an amends to them, like, pretty quickly after
yeah.
we broke up, which was a bad idea, terrible idea. But again, the feelings. I don't have feelings towards that person anymore.
No.
Because you know, you
I
move past the relationship.
I just meant like
They're just
the
a human.
generality of all the feelings.
I mean, I don't know.
can't
like
do it.
those people, if they're not going to be a part of your life anymore, why waste time or energy thinking about them?
Yeah.
I mean, they're not a part of my life. I
I
don't
logically
plan on them
I
being a part
logically
of my life.
understand all of this. My brain
So-
understands all of that. My heart understands none of it.
I mean, they're not coming back into my life.
I'm aware of that.
Okay.
So
I
why
have a,
waste my time thinking about them?
let's-
I don't know. Explain it to my heart, dickface. Okay.
How about this?
My most-
Wait, can I want to add a
Yeah.
caveat to that as far as like leaving all that stuff behind once you have made the amends and made peace with it. How do you feel about throwing away insignificant stuff from the past? Like that you may have sentimental value to,
Oh.
because there is sentimental value to those
I
relationships.
can answer that for
so,
you.
So let's give an example.
Oh, yeah, Eric's.
So let's give an example. So let's say like a very old like lunch box, you know, that you took lunch in to elementary school.
Yeah.
In our case now,
Great.
like 20 years.
probably
ago.
vintage,
Like-
right?
Yeah, like 20 years ago.
Eric sells it on eBay.
You're not going to use that. It has no function in your day-to-day life. But I don't want to throw that away. Or are the action figures I used to play with when I was
Yeah.
a kid? They sit in a bin in the basement and get looked at maybe once every couple years. But
Yeah.
I don't want to get rid of those.
Yeah.
You know, would you like?
Eric sells them. 100%.
Yes, I do.
Absolutely.
There's very few things that I hold sentimental value for anymore, and like it took me a long time to get over sentimental value. Like there's very few things I can. Like,
Oh, no, I have sentimental value.
well, I know
so
you.
much.
I know you do, but like
So much.
So like some things that I thought about. So I have these like I have like certain teddy bears that like they kind of have value. Only one really has value to me, but I do have 4 of them.
Oh, is he
And,
still
like,
here? Oh,
yeah,
no,
he's
he's
right
gone.
here.
Oh, he's right
there.
there. Okay.
So but I have 3 other Stife bears like
Mm-hmm.
that I also got as a kid. Those are things that I actually do hold some sentimental value to, but I was going to sell 3 of them because they don't hold that much sentimental value. But I thought about it and I was like, well, this one does hold sentimental value to me. It was my first toy. I still fucking have it after being on this earth for 31 years. Like, so I was like, how can I repurpose this to be like useful instead of it just sitting here doing nothing? Like, I like my one. I'm fine with that being on my desk and chilling. Like, it's good. We're good, it's good. But the other ones, how do I repurpose those? So like I thought about it and like MC and I want to have like 3 kids. So it's like I have 3 fucking extra teddy bears. One of those goes to each kid.
Perfect.
So that's like a good way to like continue like that sentimental value being passed on to something that like, to someone I care about. And like they might not give a shit about it and it might end up somewhere, but who cares? At least I tried to keep that alive. But yes, everything else goes on eBay and I sell it.
Yeah, I'm the complete opposite. Like I have so much, not like here, but like down at my dad's house, just so much crap.
But why though? Like, cause then you're being held back from like future, like that stuff is holding you back, right?
Oh wow, this is getting deep.
In what way?
What do you mean in what way? Because like you can't.
It's
okay,
like
so like
to go on a nostalgia trip. It's like, oh yeah, this was a
Have you ever heard the term like you start owning things until the things start owning you? And
I don't have them in my possession up
I think
here.
that's what Eric was going
like
for.
okay, so like think about it, like so you guys have been you've been in this room before. This room used to look a lot different than it does now. I had a lot of shit. Like, I've been selling my stuff for, like,
You had every
few
single video
years.
game console.
They're all gone.
They're all gone. Yeah.
They're all... The only systems I own right now is a Switch, a Wii U, and an Xbox One. I'm selling the Xbox One. And the Wii U is essentially just being used at the beach as
Hey,
a
you have
remote.
an Xbox One.
Yeah.
How much you selling it for?
I don't know yet. I gotta look.
Okay.
You want to give up your original Xbox and upgrade?
I don't know.
The point I'm
Maybe
trying
I'll
to
just
make
add
is
it to
that,
my
is
Xbox
that
collection.
can those same attitudes towards those items, those objects,
Yes.
be translated over to like
to people?
Yeah,
For sure.
just let it go.
Eric absolutely turns them off, and I cannot.
Well, I mean, there's
I
people
just-
that we know that, like, at a certain point, like, I just don't have time to waste on those people.
Yeah. Now, see, topically speaking, like once I have a line. Every man has a line. Shawshank has their breaking point, and once I've crossed that line with that person or have that level of fucking resentment, like we're fucking done.
I'm not
Yeah.
even saying resentment. I'm just saying, like, there's a certain time where relationships die.
Yes,
Like, you're-
absolutely.
I
But
mean-
I'm
There is a time where
Yes.
friendship just naturally might end. There are people like
Oh yeah, there's a reason, a season, and a lifetime for all relationships.
So what I'm saying is, think about our group of friends like 6 years ago, and
Oh,
think
yeah.
about what
Bigger.
it is now.
Yeah, it's
I
much
know
smaller
Matt
now.
Stout's bitch asses in fucking Colorado.
Okay,
Dickhead.
that's.
I hope you listen to this,
But that's
Matt.
one person. I'm saying, think about how big it was, like you were saying,
I know.
and like a lot of those people are just gone, and that's natural. But you're not resentful towards them. They're just
Some
not
of
here
them I
anymore.
are.
But is that the reason that the friendship's over?
No.
The reason is it
You
just fell
move
apart.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
people
just a
change.
shit
and
hook.
You get different positions in your life, and you move on.
Be
Yeah,
grateful
so,
for the people that are in your life, not the people who aren't here.
You know what they say? It's life
Yeah.
is not all about having all the things that you want. It's about wanting all the things that you have.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I picked that up years ago.
I don't think I'd heard that.
Yeah.
like
So,
that.
what about you? Your turn about the thing.
The
amends.
the
Did you say yours already?
The lunchbox. Oh, my amends.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
would sell
my,
the shit out of that lunchbox.
I know you would.
I think I got a really old, like
don't
the
give
Shadow
a-
lunchbox or like
give
Transformers
a fuck.
lunchbox.
Probably the most difficult amends for me to make was to my sister Julia. It was both a financial and a emotional, personal amends. She wouldn't even speak to me for my first 4 years of recovery, because she was still pretty convinced that I was just still a piece of shit and I was just gonna keep doing what I was doing. Totally valid.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I've proved otherwise up to this point, and it actually came through the Ravens. She like one day she shot me a text out of nowhere and was like, "Hey, I have Ravens tickets. Do you want them?" And I was like, "Oh shit, that's a big deal." Like I haven't heard from my sister in 6 years, 4 years of them being in recovery. Like nothing, no texts, no nothing, no happy birthday, no Merry Christmas, nothing, no contact at all for 6 years, and then all of a sudden, that door got opened, and honestly, I didn't even need the tickets, and I bought them anyway, on principle, because I was like, I can go over to her house, give her some money, see that, like, just have a positive interaction where I actually like come through on my word, and I ultimately ended up giving the fucking tickets away, like on the street on the way into the game, but that was something like that was part of the amends, obviously, to like her, and then ultimately like I had to save up a whole bunch of money for a good amount of time to come to her just this past like right before Christmas and give her that money and say, you know, I've owed you this for a while. And by that time we had actually been talking for like the last 2.5, 3 years, and we're actually in a really good place. And her and her husband didn't even want to take the money. I made them take the money. But that was really hard. And it's still an evolving process for sure. And sacrificing that money on like a monthly basis towards paying down that debt sucked, but it was important. And amends are like, some amends are supposed to hurt you a little bit because you did those things. You've earned that pain to quote unquote karmically come back to you, you know? Like for instance, if I was going to make a emotional amends to a family member and they ripped me a fucking new asshole, that's their right.
Well, yeah.
Because of what we did to them, that's their right.
You shouldn't go into making, like, having expectations for making an amend. Like, you shouldn't have expectations on the person that you're giving an amends to.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, but I was honestly fully prepared when I did, like, it was right before Christmas. I like texted her. I was like, hey, I really want to talk to you. And she was like, oh my God, is everything okay? I was like, yes, everything's fine. I just wanted to sit down with like you and Mark and just talk. And they were like, okay, cool. And so I had mentally prepared myself that like when I made my apologies and everything and like laid everything out and then presented my amends, I was ready to get fucking reamed a little bit, and it didn't happen. So yeah. I was preparing for the worst.
Well, that's what they say in any situation: is hope for the best, expect the worst.
Yes. But yeah, it ultimately turned out really well. But it was a long, very difficult process that weighed on me.
And we grow in the process. We can practice doing these types of things, so it becomes easier in the future.
And actually, like, the really big reward came a couple months ago, because my one niece I hadn't seen since she was an infant. And by the time I saw her again, she was 7 years old. Or 5 years old. So this was a couple years ago. She didn't really know me at all. And now I've gotten to build a relationship with my niece, and she made something at like the end of the years in school, like a little booklet of like, who do you look up to? And it was like, I look up to my Uncle David. And it was like all these little pictures of like shit we've done together. And like when my sister gave that to me, I totally cried. Whatever. I was like, this, like, and that's something that's meaningful. Like, that's a personal thing that has sentimental value that
you'll keep that forever.
It's small and innocuous. I'll keep that forever. Why? Because that's the essence of life right there. That's another human being touching another human being in a positive way that affects the trajectory of their life. That's what we're doing here on the pod. That's what we're doing right now. We're talking to people. Like, none of this
why would you keep it forever?
Why would I not keep it?
I mean, it would go in like the fridge for like a minute, you know? And
Oh
then,
no,
like,
it's staying on my fridge because I might forget about it.
take a picture.
Oh, you know what? It's like
No,
it's like the note that
it's like the Notebook. You know, what if I get early dementia and then I get to look at that and have that memory?
like maybe like your high school yearbooks or something. You know,
I thought about throwing those away
I
for a
still have all
while.
of mine. I have a couple of my
I
middle
do
school
too.
yearbooks.
I never
have
got a
one
high
middle
school.
school.
I never got a high school yearbook.
All right, guys. Well,
What's the Twitter question?
no, we're gonna actually forego the Twitter question today.
Can I know what it was? I just want to know.
You
what it
will
was.
know after here.
Alright.
Yeah.
Is that the one
But-
you have clicked on the screen there?
Yes, but we are going to shut it down.
Okay. 'cause
So-
it's-
Where are we at?
We are about out of time. We're at an hour and a half.
Oh
So,
wow!
Yeah, we
wow.
gotta shut it
talked-
down.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
All right.
but Donnie,
Yeah.
hey, we appreciate this episode.
Yes.
This was some good
it was
conversation.
No,
You
it was
know.
very insightful.
Absolutely.
We got to, share some things and
Have an
Yeah.
argument, get heated,
learn some things.
cool down.
Have our different opinions about infidelity and
Yeah.
things that some would sell or throw away for money, and others that we want to keep because they mean something to us.
And how?
And nobody's right.
Yeah, nobody's right, nobody's wrong. Everybody out there, thanks for listening. Please join us in thanking our dear friend Donnie for joining us today. Give you a golf clap. Come join. Yeah. Oh, that's too
Whoa
loud.
there.
No,
Too loud. Too loud.
much peeking.
I'm
You
a
hear
loud,
that?
I'm a loud clapper.
Yeah. You know,
Not cool.
we're on the
You
course
can do
here.
those finger
You
claps.
might not get a third episode for
Do those
that.
finger claps.
Yeah. Oh, the finger claps.
That's okay.
When they would read poetry in
Yes.
elementary school. Yeah, the snaps.
We'll snap it up. Oh, maybe we should do that for
I like the snaps. Yeah.
We might have to have
That's pretty good.
snaps.
It has an
very
essence of
beat,
cool to it all.
beatniky
Yeah.
kind of feel to
I
it.
feel like
Okay.
Jack Kerouac here.
Anyway, thank you for joining us, everybody. Here at Podcast Recovery, we are aiming to expand the scope of support for recovering addicts. Accessibility and convenience of helpful services is paramount to combating addiction. We work to bring the message of recovery to every addict, wherever and whenever it is needed. We believe that a powerful voice of recovery should be obtainable, practical, and at the touch of a button. Every addict deserves to hear a message of hope, and Podcast Recovery is here to provide it. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, like, share, subscribe, invite your friends, DM us. If you want to come on the pod, give us questions, give us feedback. We love you all. Thank you. Most importantly, stay safe, stay clean.